Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Motley Mix Sunday Salad. And yes, good to be with you again. For those watching live and for those watching the replay, thank you very much for tuning in and welcome. And on that side, we have Divan and Niels. And this side, we have Andre. And today is Dudes Day because it's just us dudes on today. How's it going, Nielsen, Divan? How are you keeping?
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
Obviously better than Divan. He's got nothing to say.
No, I'm also very chill. Very chill. I think for you, and then for me, and then for you.
So how's the week been?
It's been an adjustment, having students back in class, operating like a normal teacher again.
Yeah, no more of the online stuff this week was very nice.
It's been good. It's been good to have kids back again. It's been
back to normal.
It's been tiring, but it's been good. It's good to have all the kiddies and children back in again. And trying to rearrange almost what's a year back ago.
Yeah.
When last did we have all our kids in class? February.
Yes, pretty much. February, March. Yeah, school shut down on the 15th of March.
So, with a little bit of opening up there, it's really, really good stuff to have them all back in again. It's nice to be able to teach a full class again and not having to try and concentrate online and in class at the same time. And also it's good to have the kiddies back in a learning environment because it's been so really, really difficult to have them in a non-learning, or should I say on a what's the name environment?
Yeah, just so you can more interaction with them, like actually understand if they understand the work now.
Yeah. And to actually get them to do the work as well, because at home, we're at home. Why are we going to do this work?
That's a big problem sometimes.
Indeed. But so the good stuff is there. Unfortunately for us, the weekend is nearly done. But facing another week again as we go ahead.
Yeah,
I can't believe we've got 3 weeks to Christmas, guys.
I believe so. Yeah.
3 weeks and 4 days, I think it is.
Something to that effect, I believe, yeah.
Off to Christmas again. This year has just plummeted by absolutely fast. The stream has gone on number 17 already, episode 17. So that's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, it's 17 weeks. That's 3 more weeks and you hit the doubles.
Yeah, so we then we're going into the 222s. But that will be December. I was about to say that'll only be next year, but I think we've got 1 week that we might make it in.
Maybe, yeah.
All depending on how. But yeah, good to be back. Good to be back at school and good to be back on the Motley Mix again. Wonderful to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So today I have been there and we're trying to get around to places in Cambodia to be able to show you a little bit around Cambodia and the different places and give you a little bit of history of Cambodia, etc., etc. And one of the places fresh in the mind of Niels and Divan, which is not one of the nicest places to go, not because it's bad for us, because it is a very, very painful past of Cambodia. We've gone to the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum. Now, the Tuol Sleng Museum used to be a
high school, right?
Yeah. Let me just see. Yeah, where did I have that? From 1975 to 1979. Okay, it is one of the most brilliant civilizations appearing on Earth and must undergo a dark period of destruction from the Khmer Rouge. Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, Phnom Penh, is strong evidence of the history about terrible massacre of nearly 40 years in Cambodia. So initially it was Tuol Sven Prey. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Tuol Sven Prey High School.
Yeah.
So before the building was destroyed and remodeled into a prison called Prison 21, S21, with durable windows and iron bars and barbed wire around it. All classrooms were used in a new role. The jail's interrogation room and torture chambers, in their period of 4 years under the Khmer Rouge reign, this prison confined about 17,000 people. Other sources say the figure was closer to 20,000 people. Most members and previous soldiers of the Khmer Red convicted or betrayal of government officials, the intelligentsia, because they were suspected of being spies or dangerous forces for government. So a lot of people who were intelligent or seemed to have positions of intelligence or learned people were convicted and claimed to have been spies. Even their families, including the elderly, women and children, were arrested, interrogated, and brutally executed at the Chiang Ek extermination center. And then their corpses were buried in mass graves inside the prison grounds. So it is actually quite an eerie feeling walking around Tuol Sleng. And it's, I get goosebumps when I actually think about it, even when I speak about it. And when we were walking around there, it was really a very, very solemn type of, experience going around there. Pictures illustrating many cruel forms of torture and homicide, along with the records of prisoners, have been kept in the museum, whose role is the powerful voice denouncing the crimes of the Khmer Rouge government in the large-scale genocide in Cambodia. And it was literally a genocide, because you probably almost wiped out a nation over there. The interrogation room and torture chambers make a sense of horror and bleak, with blood on the walls, skulls in the wooden cabinets, and rusty torture instruments, detailing explanations about the way to use them. Previously, a map of Cambodia made from 300 skulls of underprivileged victims was once displayed here as a most tragic image, but was subsequently removed in 2002 because it is controversial as an insult to the dead. More than 3 decades have elapsed since the first time the world knew the tyrannous genocide of the Khmer Rouge government in Cambodia. With pictures, artifacts, and documents in the current museum attracts a large number of visitors from all over the world. However, not everyone is brave enough to witness this historical tragedy without feeling fearful. And I can only say that it is. I don't know what your feeling was like there, but it was an absolute, a bit of a, I don't want to say a horror story, but you know what? It's almost like someone is walking over your grave. It is really not a pleasant experience, although it is a necessary experience, I would say. But very, very solemn, very difficult to cope through. When the Vietnamese army invaded, what are we talking about? During his genocide rule in 1975 to 1979. So it's almost a short time, but in this short time, you had a huge wipeout of the Cambodian people, and especially the learned or intellectual people that, let me just get that sign off there, that were just falsely accused of being spies or anything to that effect, etc., etc. Millions, between 1 to 2 million Cambodians and many thousands of foreigners were starved to death, tortured, or killed during this reign of terror. When the Vietnamese army invaded in 1979, the S-21 prison staff fled, leaving behind thousands of written and photographic records. Altogether, more than 6,000 photographs were left. The majority, however, have been lost or destroyed. Former prison staff say as many as 30,000 prisoners were held at S-21. So there we go. We went from 17,000 to 30,000. prisoners were held at S21 before the Khmer Rouge leadership was forced to flee in the first days of 1979. This website contains most of the photographs. Okay, so we're on a book, printed the killing fields, twin palm trees. Hopefully within the next, say, 2 weeks or so, we'll bring you a little bit more about the killing fields, as it is a separate area to the Tuol Sleng Museum, or the prison. The killing fields is basically where they would take them off to be killed, murdered. The Tuol Sleng Museum is currently the Museum of Genocide, which is located within the former prison grounds and has the original negatives and a catalogue of about 6,000 remaining negatives. Cornell University also has one of the catalogues, and the DCCAM. In 1997, American photographer and researcher Doug Niven identified and located the prison photographer Nem Ian, who had been living in a Khmer Rouge stronghold since 1979. Since meeting Nem Ian, many other former prison staff have been identified and interviewed, adding to the knowledge. And this site is basically tuolsleng.com, TUOLSLENG.com. Yeah, it is really, really daunting. I actually want to try and see if I can show you some of the pictures of prisoners. Something you don't really always want to see.
Yeah, some of the photos that you do see, they are pretty graphic.
Yeah, they are indeed. I have one over here, but let's see if I can get your photos up. So tell us about your experience, first of all. What was it like going there? Can you go there? Do you suggest that people actually go and visit this museum? Should they come to Cambodia? It's probably history that is very, very important. It's probably one of the most important places that you go and see would fall under Tuol Sleng Museum. So, I mean, I know Angkor Wat, which hopefully we'll bring to you early next year, but the Tuol Sleng Museum is an intricate part of Cambodian history that basically it's a genocide museum where your nation was almost wiped out by the Khmer Rouge, which is basically, I think, communist. But so we often watch in awe and look around us in wonder when we take a look at how this country has built itself up again, has revived itself, and has become a living nation again after 4 years of being wiped out totally. But I do believe that if you come to Cambodia, or you actually make an effort to actually come visiting Cambodia, Tuol Sleng Museum, Genocide Museum, and then obviously the killing fields would be on the top of your list to actually come and take a look at. Very, very solemn, very, very heart-sore to actually walk through and see that human nature has been treated, or humans could actually treat each other in this way. But yes, it is so, and actually hearing about it, reading about it, and actually living through walking in those areas, I think, is two different things as well. So when you got there, what was it like? They give you welcome drinks and flowers around the neck?
Yeah, well, guys, so yeah, I think like the rest of the world, there is still quite a bit of fear with regard to the COVID-19. So what our experience was today, Andre, I know when you guys went, you told me that you had the audio systems, but apparently due to safety reasons, none of that was available, and also no guide available to take you through the place. So if you didn't have a background about the place and didn't understand what was exactly going on there, wouldn't have meant particularly much to you.
Couldn't you do the audio tour?
No. There was no audio available, and there was also no guides available to take us. And we asked if they maybe have a booklet that can explain. Also not. Yeah, so we went on what we sort of knew out of our heads about the place, and so as we walked around, we tried to piece together what we already do know. And there's little plaques up in some places where you can do a bit of reading. But yeah, in general, it is quite a somber feel that you get when you go there. Yeah, especially if you know what happened there, the monstrosities that was actually committed there, and like you said, it wasn't a long period of their history. It's a very short period of their history, and it's a really recent piece of the Khmer history. So I think for a lot of people, it touches really close to home to actually discuss it or to go into it, or to even go to the museum. But I think it's an important part of history to understand where you come from and where you're going, and discover what was the world like back then. How was it? What was it like around the world? Because this was in the same time as the Vietnam US wars, and so
Did it actually cross over that time?
yes, it did actually cross over that time, and the Khmer Rouge, the people in their early stages, so the leaders, they would actually hide close to the Vietnam border because the military didn't want to go too close to the border, as that would make Vietnam think that they are trying to challenge them. So that made an ideal hiding spot for the Khmer Rouge leaders to actually hide.
Wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, so there was definitely a crossover during that time. As you know, it was actually the Vietnamese forces that actually caused the Khmer Rouge to flee and abandon posts when in 1979.
Wow.
Yeah, so quite a densely packed short period of history. It happened in 4 years, and it is really a lot that happened in this country over that period of time. And I think it's a fairly dramatic experience.
Well, at the bottom is a map that you can see of the Tuol Sleng Museum.
Yes. The bottom part is the current museum.
Which what down here, or this one over here?
If you look at the square in the middle of the picture.
Over there at the bottom, yeah.
And then up. Yeah. That is the new piece. That is the museum. But if you go all the way up to the second top, there where the gate is on the road.
Over here.
Yeah. That was the entire genocide, the whole S21 area there.
I think that's parking area now, but this is where your classrooms and that were, which was turned into a prison cells. And if you thought classrooms were packed these days, from the photos, I believe prison cells were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
So it's that area over there, which is phenomenally. You would actually go in your tour. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 7, 8, 9. And where's 6? There's 6. There's 7, 8. Oh, I don't think you'd walk along that way like that. But on the bottom here is almost like a
aerial shot in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is now what would happen if you would take the audio tour.
The audio tour is absolutely amazing. I was very, very fortunate to have been able to do that audio tour myself. I'm really, really sorry that you guys didn't, and maybe we should actually do it again sometime. But yeah, for now,
make sure they've got it.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, with the COVID's scare and pandemic at the moment, it is really a how should I say, a concern. Let me actually open this up so that we can actually get that there. And I can actually just maybe go back here so that you can actually see what we were talking about. There we go. That's a much, much better option to be able to say. There's the.
Yeah, you can see nicely now.
There you can see it nicely. That's the actual museum area. But the Tuol Sleng actually, I think, consisted totally of this whole area over here.
Yeah, the whole area.
Entrance from the road. But I think this is where, as they say, the nightmare occurred. Sorry. The next one. That is the audio tour that you would usually go on.
Yeah. It's got 32 stops and there's like little plaques everywhere with like the number of the track that you should be playing.
It's sad that you couldn't do it because you see, number one, it actually gives you and it's true as they say it here. I mean, take a look at the words that are used here. Number one says introduction to a nightmare. Now I think a nightmare is actually a sweet dream compared to what happened and what occurred to these people and what occurred in this place over here. And you know what? It is very important. Yes, in life to forgive, but not to forget these occurrences that have gone on over here. And then it says 14 graves outside a building, survivor speaks. That is probably excessively heart-wrenching to be able to see or hear this situation of a nightmare speaks. On the next picture, what is that? Regulations, the security regulations.
Yeah, the rules and regulations that had to be followed when they are there.
And what do you have here? You must answer accordingly to my question. Don't turn them away.
Yeah.
Don't try to hide the facts by making pretense this and that. You are strictly prohibited to contest me. Don't be fooled, for you are a chap who don't dare to thwart the revolution. You must immediately answer my question without wasting time to reflect. Don't tell me either about your
immortalities
or of the essence of the revolution. What else we got there, Divan? You've got a little bit better sight than what I have there.
Okay, so then the sixth one is, while getting lashes or electrification, you must not cry at all.
How's that, people? I mean, while we're inflicting probably some of the most viciously, painfully thought out methods, you may not cry.
Do nothing. Sit still and wait for my orders. If there's no order, keep quiet. When I ask you to do something, you must do it right away without protesting. You didn't have a choice. You do whatever. Then it says here, don't make pretext about Kampuchea Krom in order to hide your secret or traitor. Then at number 9, it says here, if you don't follow rules, you shall get many lashes of electric wire. And then the final one is, if you disobey any point of my regulations, you shall get either 10 lashes or 5 shocks of electric discharge.
Now, if you've ever taken electric cable, guys, and you've actually just swatted it over your leg or over your arm by mistake, I think you'll realize the immense pain that seeps into your body, and that's possibly through an accidental light smack that you've given. Now, imagine these electrical cables cutting your flesh open for not answering what is wanted to be heard. So you may be totally innocent, however, you are expected to declare yourself as guilty.
Yeah.
And being lashed or shocked. You may not cry out either. It is, you know what? I just shudder to think of that. What have we got there? We got.
Here's just the stairwells in like the one prison building. This was the torture building where they would do the interrogation and those things. And like it's 3 stories of these 3 floors of these different torture rooms where they would have people in interrogation rooms.
It actually looks eerie, guys.
Yeah, it looks
Just looks. It looks eerie. Oh, that's where they had lunch.
no, this is
this is quite a
Yeah.
somber story as well.
it's a torture
So your-
method of a
Your
way.
gantry that you had there almost looked like you would actually hang someone there.
Yeah.
So it was called the gallows, and it says this pole with cables attached to it had been used for the students to conduct their exercises. So that was when it was still a school.
Yeah.
And it says the Khmer Rouge utilized this space for an interrogation room. The interrogators tied both hands of the prisoners to the back by a rope and lift the prisoners upside down. They did like this until the prisoners lost consciousness. Then they dipped the prisoner's head into a jar of smelly, filthy water, which they normally used as fertilizer for the crops in the terrace outside. By doing so, the victims quickly regained consciousness, and that the interrogators could continue their interrogation.
So basically, as that figure is shown there, the hands were tied behind the back like that, and then they were pulled up above those pots by their hands and hung there till they passed out. And those pots were filled with absolute filth and muck water. And if they used it as a manure for their gardens and that, you can imagine that those pots were probably filled with feces and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Which they would dip their heads into. Guys, and that's the real thing there. It's not a movie prop. It's
Not something out of a book or a thriller movie or anything. This is legit. It happened in real life.
Yeah, and behind it you can actually see the little graves there. That's 14 graves of unknown men. So obviously it was about 4 days after the Khmer Rouge has been driven out by the Vietnamese forces. A Vietnamese journalist was walking through town and through the ruins of the city, and so he caught a bad smell coming from the buildings, and that was obviously the last 14 bodies that was left there. Obviously, when they fled, everything was just everyone abandoned post and fled, and the rest was left for dead or whatever the case may be. And so they were buried at a museum actually.
Wow. And there on the right hand side, if you're looking over here, that's the one part of the prison. That's the prison doors. There's like corridors, open air corridors in front of them over there. And then you can see it's the 3-story building. And this is like the quad section over there. And then this is your bar. They tied their hands behind their back like that. And you know what? The figure isn't made badly. They were actually that malnutritioned. They were to death. You know what? If you didn't die from torture, if you didn't die from being killed, you died from starvation.
Yeah, one of the plaques that I read there actually said that they got so little food that you could actually count the grains of rice they were given to eat.
You know what, guys? Even in difficult times when we struggle to eat these days, it is. I don't think people can quite comprehend and imagine the absolute trauma, the absolute terror, the absolute horror that occurred here, that these people have gone through. Here's another room, and it has a cage. You can see the floor where they were
chained.
So you couldn't walk around or run around. You were chained into the prison room where you were. Am I correct in saying so?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that was actually still part of the interrogation rooms as well. So obviously they would be locked up there and chained down and waited to be interrogated. And then at the back there, you can actually see that was cuffs. So it was pretty much shackle, like 2D shackles and a steel bar. And that's how the prisoners were shackled. And it made it easy to attach a chain to them to keep them in one place. And when we get to the cells, photos of the prison cells.
I think I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if we don't have the cells, there weren't any doors on the cells either. So they had their little cubicle, and they were chained in there as well.
It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And you would have probably about 100 guys, if not more, people just changing there's the bars on the windows still. You wouldn't see the light of day. And there's just to mention something, there's no toilet in there, guys. And no one would excuse me,
was there toilet?
and they unlocked you and walked you to the toilet. Your toilet was where you were.
No, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, and also to take in how primitive it was that time still. I don't think at that stage there wasn't much use for electricity in schools anyway. Most of the electrical fittings that you can actually see in the place, the lights and the light switches and all of that is new. The ceiling fans, that is new additions to that building. I don't think that buildings had electricity. I do not think that. I think there's still actually schools here that does not have electricity, and if the school does have electricity, it was only installed recently.
Yeah, they were basically tied down worse than animals and left to starve to death, and you were taken in and out for torture. These are the passages with the doorways, and as you see the shutters, which I very much assume were closed most of the time, and the barbed wire. So the passages and walkways weren't open at all.
They actually put up the barbed wire. This was on the floor where the cells is. So they built it with brick walls initially on the ground floor, and then on the second floor they had wood, which they made little makeshift cells, and it is genuinely makeshift, and they're spaced so close together that they're not even all equal sizes. I think it was literally just hammered and nailed.
I think you can see them over there on the floor, or almost the.
That's the size of the cells. Yeah.
Yeah, that is about the size a cell would be.
I've got a picture of the cells here, if I can show it quickly.
And then on the third floor was open cells, and it would appear that the people that were in the open cells, literally you would lie shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot, and you would lie down, and that is how you spent your time there, lying flat on your back. And you can see how skinny most of the people were, so they fitted them in there like it was nobody's business. But the barbed wire, they actually put up these barbed wire at the cells to prevent the prisoners from jumping over and committing suicide.
Yeah, that's the strange thing. It wasn't for escaping that they closed up like this. It was from allowing you to take your own life, so that they could actually torture any more out of you and actually have your life taken. Divan, we'll give you a chance to share that photo. Now I'm just going to finish these as I'm on the roll.
Yeah. This is a photo of one of the interrogation rooms that we found. And they basically all look like this. You would be shackled there into the bed. Some of the places, it said that they would put the chair on top of you while they interrogate you, shock you, cut you, all sorts of weird stuff.
These walls are still very, very much, as much as what they've tried to clean everything off is still got the original markings and things. As you can take a look at the walls, it's very, very eerie. Being there, you can almost, dare I say, smell death walking through those prisons and passages and cells and things like that. Yeah. It is very musty, and I must say, you know what, looking at this is absolutely clean. This is like advertising an apartment. Yeah, I think it was absolutely, if you think of a place that has feces all over the place and urine and it stinks and it smells and it's blood and death, you know what, that is far, far more what it is. Goodness me.
Yeah.
I think that was the last of the pictures.
Okay.
You said you had one that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I didn't. Let's do that one there. Okay, I don't know if you can you all see this?
Not yet.
There we go. Oh, okay. There. That there is what the cells look like, and it goes down like.
Yeah, so there was basically different classrooms, and they would make little makeshift passages in the walls to to allow access, obviously, for the guards to move through and move around from one chamber to the next.
And those cells were terrible.
Yeah, and the floor up, they would just be made out of wood.
Yeah, I think these brick ones were slightly better, because I can't imagine how hot it must have been in one of the wooden ones, because wood is it conducts heat really well, so that would have stored so much heat. Those people were probably starving from the heat.
And once again, I must reiterate that this place has been cleaned up for tourists to walk through.
Okay. Everything's all sharp. I don't know how this thing works.
Just stop sharing, it's fine. But yeah, once again, I must reiterate that those cells are not not as clean as what they are there. They are definitely cleaned up for tourist purposes. But those cells were, as I say, defecation everywhere. There was no bucket, no toilet, no nothing. Your toilet was where you are. That's it. And you know what? It wasn't like one man, one cell. You know, this is your compartment. It was like 20 people shoved into that cell over there. It is absolutely a hideous scenario that they ended up with.
Yeah, one of the testimonials that I read today described actually how they were allowed to bathe or shower. So the guards would come past in the hallways with like a hose pipe, and they would spray it into the rooms or the cells, and in the open floor cells as well. They would spray the water in, and that is what you got to clean yourself. And one of the guys said, or one of the testimonials said that he had a shower once in the 3-month period that he was there, and one of the other ones said he was luckier. He had a shower once a week. So yeah, I don't think there was any consistent treatment there either. It was literally how they felt about it at that stage, the sort of treatment that those people got in the confinement.
Absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Just a little bit of info. 1975 to 1979 this was, guys, and it was hell. It was a nightmare. It was a 4-year nightmare for the people of Cambodia. One of the most brilliant civilizations appearing on Earth must undergo a dark period of destruction from the Khmer Rouge. Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, Phnom Penh, is evidence of this history about the terrible massacre nearly 40 years ago in Cambodia. And I think there are still quite a few people and the country itself are walking around with the scars of the effects of this genocide that went through them. As we said initially, it was Tuol Sleng High School. So you know what? The Kingdom of Cambodia, as it is known, was a well-educated, beautiful, strong country. Yeah, these buildings were destroyed in 75 and remodeled into that security prison with durable windows, iron and barbed wire around them. The classrooms were used in a new role, the jails, interrogation room, and torture chambers. In the period of 4 years under the Khmer Rouge reign, this prison, as we said, was confined to about 20,000 people, some of them actually stating even more as such. I don't know how many different photos there are on this one, but if we take a look at just this over here, I will try and make it a little bigger. That is the actual prison. That is Tuol Sleng.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do this like this. I don't know if you can see it any better at all. It actually looks very pretty on the outside with the little walkways and that, but I do urge you to look at this in a darker nature of where the white was not white and the grounds were a battlefield, I would say. Far from the look that it looks like now, the beautiful palm trees, the grass was not cut, the pathways were not there. Those are basically the cells where the smaller cells were made, and where the interrogation rooms and the torture chambers, as you can see there, same as the photos that Nielsen have taken for us over there. Another picture of the prison itself. It's basically a view that I don't think the prisoners even had, because this is a view from the
walkway,
one of the corridors. Yeah, the walkway's there, and I think that's what you'd get to look out on when you were dragged to the torture chambers and interrogation rooms. And I don't think you took in the view. I think the only thing there was your life that you had. With some of the prisoners.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, I have some photos to share on that as well. There's just there's boards and boards and boards of prisoners, and as you can see, those are all women. Those are all women.
Yeah, there were women, there were men, there were children, all sorts.
There was no distinction. There those pots are with the torture gallows. Again.
Back to the first one.
And that would be back, yeah, to what it was there. I actually have another one where I have some this is some of the prisoners. They're not old prisoners.
Unidentified.
They're not old. I actually go cold when I look at these pictures, because these are actual pictures, guys.
Yeah.
Of prisoners.
And everyone had their number. Your name wasn't anything. You had a number.
I mean, these are children, youngsters. You sort of see the fear in these people's eyes.
Like look at the old granny and then the child next to her. Like
Yeah, one of the testimonials in the building actually said it was one of the last younger people that was actually kept captive there, and so their father was initially placed in the prison, and then they sent for their mother as well, and him and his brother. So then pretty much the whole family was imprisoned there. So yeah, quite horrible to think that there was no differentiation of child or adult. They were all placed in there.
You were just that number that was thrown in. And these photos that I'm showing you are photos of the arrival of the prisoners. It's not after they've been there for a while. So if you're looking and going, but Andre, he doesn't look malnourished. He's not malnourished because he's just been pulled in there. He doesn't look dirty or absolutely fried because he's just been pulled in there. Here's a picture where you can see, how do you move? That's his legs shackled and chained to his bed. Those are the shackles that Niels was pointing out in one of the rooms before. These guys have all been, this is like new prisoners.
there you can see how many people were actually in one cell. There's a lot of people in that picture.
Yeah, they're all on top of each other there. The scary part is how young these people are.
Yes, yes.
And it is just, you know what, there's hundreds and thousands of these photos. But yeah, my pain out of this is the fact that it is real. It is real. I don't know how you would come across a resilient nation like this. And this is where I would say I gain a lot of respect for Cambodia, in the sense that these guys rose up from literally ashes. If you want to take a look at a comparison to a phoenix and say these guys rose up from the ashes, because that is one museum, that is one prison. The horror that this country went through, and the dictatorship that and the suffering and the murderous interrogation and torturing that they went through on a daily basis. You cannot even say, I understand, I can imagine. I don't think a person can actually imagine. Walking through there for me was, you know what, I went there to see a museum, and I walked through this museum, and it was just, the more I heard the testimonials of the few people that had actually survived this, how, I don't know, was heart-wrenching, or was traumatic, if I have to tell you in that sense. But it is definitely worth the visit to go there and actually take a look. This is a solid piece of history, and as I said, you can still see in the city some areas that haven't been able to be built up. You've seen how people have been trying to make a life out of where they've come. And then you can sometimes see a lot in the people's eyes, especially the older generation.
Yes, yes.
The pain, because if you take a look at those photos, once again, they are tiny youngsters, little tots. These are people who are supposed to be playing with toys, being protected, looked after, being in school, being taught, drawing. They're supposed to have lived the developing years of their lives, and they are being beaten by electrical cables, they are being cut, they are being tortured, and they're being accused of the most horrendous things ever and forced to testify. And not only were you as the person held accountable for it, but your whole family would be held accountable for it. And that is just horrific, absolutely horrific. I cannot imagine anything worse in my life. I can't get to imagine that. But yeah, as I said, a solid piece of history, definitely. Worth the visit, most definitely so. It actually changes your understanding of the people, how resilient they are, how they've bounced back, and how they are carrying on with life, which is, secondly, probably one of the most admirable things in this country is the fact that these people have carried on with life. Now, we have such a difference in society when you find that people are, they basically blame, they complain, they live in the past. We've so many people that are complaining, that are blaming. I can't go forward because of this. I can't eat because of this. I'm poor because of this. And if you take a look here in Cambodia, people are just moving along. They are trying their utmost best to make a living, to go on, to actually go forward.
To leave the past in the past.
Yeah, look, I don't think you can ever leave a hook like that cuts your throat so badly and not realize that at night it sometimes comes to suffocate you. But it is definitely something that you want to go and see and realize and probably admire these people in the end for the absolute tenacity that they have as such. But if you're coming to Cambodia, not only the palace, not only the museum, definitely in Phnom Penh in Cambodia is the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, known as S21, which is definitely worth the visit as such.
Just go and make sure beforehand they've got the audio book available.
Yeah, the audio tour is definitely, I know, I think it's definitely due to this COVID situation at the moment that is, yeah, that is a problem and causing a lot of situations and scenarios throughout at the moment. But yeah, it should, you know what, if you're allowed to fly in, because currently I don't think we can get international flights in here.
Yeah, very, very limited, and it is quite a procedure as well with a quarantine period and the amount of money it actually costs you.
We've actually seen terrible situations where places have closed down that, because this country as well is very reliant on tourism, because it is a beautiful country.
Yeah.
It's known as the Kingdom of Cambodia. It's not the Republic of Cambodia or the Union of Cambodia or the United States of Cambodia. It is actually known as the Kingdom of Cambodia because of its beauty. I do believe that the Vietnam War had definitely had an effect on it, with militia and that coming through here. The French definitely had a negative effect on it as that. But yeah, the Khmer Rouge by a long shot has had the most horrific effect on it as such.
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to live here, it's not tragic living here at the moment, but it is tragic when you take a look and you are seeing people painfully going through, or should I say, surviving from the past, which still, I think, affects people to this very day. Especially, there are many people that still live. I mean, I met a gentleman, Niels, you were with us when we were at the pepper plantation in Kampot.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman there who'd come from, I think, Finland.
Yes, he was residing in Finland.
My gentleman, I think both his sons had been killed in the genocide.
Yeah.
Now, as a parent, I think that is something you're just never going to get over. You're never going to forget.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and yet, yeah, we are. And yeah, guys, I sincerely suggest you take the time, if you come through here, apart from enjoying the beautiful country that this is, the stunning views that it is, I do believe it very important that you take a trip down its history and appreciate what this country has arisen up from as such. But otherwise, we're ready for another week.
Yeah.
A fresh week.
A fresh week, fresh kids. And as I said, it's nearly Christmas. And yeah, even though the actual meaning of Christmas doesn't really take to everybody here, Christmas is still a big celebration here. So yeah, maybe we'll get the week before Christmas. Or when is Christmas? Christmas is on the Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe the week before that,
Yeah.
or the week after that, we will bring you some pictures of Christmas in Cambodia.
Awesome.
Only thing we're short of is snow over here. We have is heat, so
I get too cold too easily. The snow can stow away.
look,
I get too cold too easily.
I'm well padded, so no worries with that.
I am speaking for myself.
Speak for yourself. The rest of us, nah.
We're happy in cold.
We love the cold.
We would appreciate some snow.
Hey, today hasn't been so hot though. Today's been quite chilled.
Yeah.
Today's been a little bit overcast, and strangely enough, there hasn't been too much humidity as well, because usually we face extreme humidity in this kind of cold. In this kind of weather as well, when it is looks like it wants to rain. We had rain last weekend. Things chalked up for that, and yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit of rain while you're sleeping over here, because I love sleeping when it's raining. But yeah, cold, snow. Yeah, I think hell has a better chance of freezing over than seeing snow in.
Yeah, I think we want to see snow here. We'll have to get artificial snow.
Artificial snow, yeah. Quite possible, because they actually do a lot of the I should have say they do a lot of decorations and setting up and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see. Here is. Just found another picture that I actually want to show. I know we've sort of gone off Tuol Sleng at the moment, but I want to just bring this one in.
Yes.
No.
On that one? Okay.
I just wanted to share that picture there. You can kind of see there, we were talking about the amount of people, and that's how they were shackled ankle to ankle and put into those rooms, just to give you an idea of the amount of people that were put in there.
It's really something to experience going there. Really, it is a unique experience that I don't think you'll get really anywhere else.
Yeah, no. Cambodia is full of wonders. Some are beautiful, some are painful, but they remain wonders. And it's very, very nice of you to have shared this stream with us. It's not been the most wonderful stream, because it has been a bit of a solemn one as such, and not such great news. Fortunately, as I said, we're in the 20th or 2020, 40 years later, and it is moving on. The people are building, the cities and the country is growing around it. And I do believe it is going from a strength to strength. Otherwise, I think our time practically runs currently up, and my cup overfloweth for sleep for tomorroweth. The motley mix should be on in about an hour's time as well. And yeah, got some prepping for motley mix. I'm going to throw something at the screen that doesn't work.
It's this mighty screen of Divan here is consuming all screen power from all our computers.
It is not.
But yeah, so
Reduce the power.
yeah, if it doesn't have Wi-Fi, I don't go there. But anyway, guys, from our side, I think it's a done and dusted. Please if you take a look at the bottom over there, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. It's the only way that we get out. It has been wonderful to share with you an experience and our adventures that we have in Cambodia. But once again, please note that we are happy to share any adventure with anybody, whether you're in Cambodia, whether you're Cambodian or you're not Cambodian, whether it's a Western thing. If you have anything interesting, that's what the Motley Mix Sunday Salad is all about. It is really a tossed salad that we would love to share your experiences, your knowledge, your anything great. And if you do have any ideas, please mail us. As you can see at the bottom over there is motleyMix2020@gmail.com. Please drop us an email to let us know if there is anything that you would like us to discuss or to take a look at, or even if you feel that you would like to come onto the show and chat with us and tell us about something or show us something, whether it be your business, whether it be your hobby, whether it be a point of interest, whether it be something that you think would be good. Yes, the show is uplifting, it is positive, but it is also realistic. So hence the reason Tuol Sleng today. It's maybe not the most uplifting thing to look at, but it is a realistic situation to look at as such as well. So please don't forget to share this video and like and subscribe as well. Thank you to those that have subscribed. We have got about another 4 subscribers this week as well, and I know it's a new station, so yeah, the expectations are not high or that high, but it is really always exciting to have new people and new subscribers join us as such. But yes, from my side, thank you very much. From your side,
thank you, guys. Enjoy your week ahead, and then we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, and
same time, same place.
Yeah.